Welcome to Relaxing Fact Studio. Today, we invite you to witness one of the most unstoppable forces on Earth: water. Calm, silent, and life-giving on the surface, yet capable of immense power beyond imagination. From towering waves and violent storms to slow, relentless forces that carve continents and reshape the planet itself, water is never truly still. It moves, it presses, it erodes, and over time, it dominates everything in its path. In this documentary, we explore how water becomes energy, motion, pressure, and transformation, revealing why it remains the most powerful force of nature on our planet. Water is often seen as calm and familiar, yet beneath its surface lies a force that nothing on Earth can truly resist. From the smallest stream to the largest ocean, water is always in motion, driven by gravity, pressure, and time. It flows downhill, fills every available space, and adapts to any environment it encounters. Unlike solid forces that rely on sudden impact, water's strength comes from persistence. It does not need speed to be powerful. It only needs time. Across the planet, water has shaped landscapes for millions of years. Mountains are worn down, valleys are formed, and coastlines are constantly rewritten by its movement. Rock, steel, and concrete may appear strong, but when exposed to continuous water flow, even the hardest materials slowly change. Drop by drop, layer by layer, water transforms the surface of the Earth without pause. What makes water truly unstoppable is its ability to exist in constant balance between force and flexibility. It can be gentle enough to support life, yet strong enough to move massive volumes of earth and stone. It responds instantly to its surroundings, accelerating through narrow spaces, spreading across open land, and building pressure where there is no escape. This power is not driven by intention or emotion. Water follows natural laws with perfect consistency. Gravity pulls it forward, temperature changes guide its form, and the planet's rotation directs its movement. There is no central control, yet the result is a global system of motion that never rests. In understanding the unstoppable power of water, we begin to see why it stands above all other natural forces, not because it acts suddenly, but because it never stops.
Water is often associated with calm surfaces and steady movement. Yet, under certain conditions, it can shift rapidly into a powerful and dangerous force. When energy builds within water systems, motion intensifies and balance is lost. Water responds without hesitation. This transformation is not sudden by chance. It is the result of pressure, volume, speed, and environmental alignment coming together at the same moment. Heavy rainfall over short periods can overwhelm the land's ability to absorb moisture. Rivers rise beyond their banks, and low-lying areas fill faster than they can drain. As water accelerates, it gains mass and momentum, moving objects far heavier than itself. What begins as steady flow can quickly become an unstoppable surge, reshaping terrain within hours. In coastal regions, strong winds transfer energy directly into the surface of the sea. Water responds by rising, stacking, and pushing forward with immense force. The surface may appear chaotic, but the movement follows precise physical laws. Each wave carries stored energy, released when it meets resistance. Shorelines, barriers, and structures experience the full weight of this motion. Even away from oceans and rivers, water can become violent through accumulation and confinement. When trapped in limited spaces, pressure increases silently. Once released, water expands instantly, moving with speed that cannot be controlled or redirected. What defines violent water is not aggression, but imbalance. Too much energy, too much volume, or too little space forces water to express its power all at once. These moments remind us that water is never passive, it is always responding to its environment. When conditions shift, water does not hesitate. It moves with clarity, precision, and force, revealing a side of nature that demands respect and understanding.
Far beneath the surface of the ocean, immense forces are constantly at work. When sudden movements occur along the sea floor, large volumes of water are displaced in seconds. This rapid shift transfers enormous energy into the ocean, creating waves that travel across entire basins with quiet speed and growing strength. In open water, these waves may appear small, almost unnoticeable, yet they carry power across thousands of kilometers. As these waves approach shallower coastal areas, everything changes. The ocean floor rises, water depth decreases, and the energy contained within each wave is forced upward. The result is a dramatic increase in height and intensity. What was once a smooth movement becomes a towering wall of water, moving with sustained momentum rather than a single impact. Megawaves, formed by massive landslides or sudden collapses, represent an even more concentrated release of energy. These events push water upward and outward with extreme force, reaching heights far beyond ordinary ocean waves. Their power is measured not only by size, but by the volume of water moving at once. Unlike surface waves driven by wind, tsunamis and megawaves are driven by the movement of the Earth itself. They involve the full depth of the ocean, from surface to sea floor, making them uniquely powerful. Nothing on the surface can slow them until they reach land. These events reveal the true scale of water's energy. Silent at first, unstoppable in motion, and governed entirely by natural laws, tsunamis and megawaves demonstrate how water becomes one of the most powerful forces ever observed on our planet. Rivers may appear steady and predictable, yet over time they become some of the most powerful forces shaping the surface of the Earth. Guided by gravity, rivers move continuously from higher ground toward the sea, carrying water, sediment, and energy across vast distances. This motion never truly stops. Day and night, season after season, rivers continue their work. As water flows downstream, it slowly wears away rock and soil beneath it. Small particles are lifted, carried forward, and released elsewhere. This process, repeated over millions of years, transforms solid landscapes into valleys, canyons, and wide floodplains. Even the hardest stone cannot resist the persistent movement of flowing water. Rivers gain strength as they grow. Tributaries merge, increasing volume and speed. With greater flow comes greater capacity to reshape the land. Curves deepen, banks shift, and entire channels migrate across the terrain. What appears stable on a human timescale is constantly changing beneath the surface. Some of the largest features on Earth were formed by rivers alone. Deep gorges, broad deltas, and fertile plains all exist because water followed a path and remained faithful to it. These formations are not the result of sudden force, but of steady pressure applied over immense periods of time. The power of rivers lies in consistency. They do not rush and they do not pause. By moving forward without interruption, rivers carve continents, connect ecosystems, and shape the geography of the planet. In their quiet persistence, they demonstrate one of nature's most effective forms of power. The oceans appear vast and calm from a distance, yet beneath the surface lies a constant and powerful system of movement. Ocean water is never still. It circulates through currents driven by wind, temperature differences, Earth's rotation, and variations in water density. Together, these forces create a global network of motion that spans the entire planet. Surface currents transport massive amounts of water across oceans, redistributing heat and influencing weather patterns far beyond the coastlines. Warm water flows toward cooler regions, while colder water sinks and travels slowly along the ocean floor. This continuous exchange forms a deep circulation system that connects every major ocean basin. The scale of this movement is difficult to comprehend. Entire bodies of water shift gradually, carrying energy across thousands of kilometers. Unlike waves that move across the surface, ocean currents involve the actual transport of water itself. This motion stores and releases energy over long periods, shaping climates and stabilizing environmental systems. Through constant motion, the oceans regulate temperature, transport energy, and maintain balance across Earth's systems. Their power is not dramatic on the surface, but it is essential, enduring, and unmatched in scale. Storms are among the most visible demonstrations of water's power in the atmosphere. While wind and clouds shape their appearance, water is the primary source of their energy. Warm water at the surface of oceans and lakes evaporates into the air, storing heat within invisible vapor. As this moisture rises and cools, energy is released, fueling the growth and intensity of storms. When large amounts of warm, moist air collect, atmospheric systems begin to organize. Water vapor condenses into clouds, releasing heat that strengthens upward motion. This process allows storms to expand vertically and horizontally, drawing in more air and moisture. The greater the supply of water, the more energy becomes available to the system. Over open oceans, this cycle can continue for extended periods. Warm surface waters provide a steady source of moisture, allowing storms to maintain strength as they move across vast distances. Rainfall becomes heavier, cloud structures grow taller, and circulation patterns become more defined. All of this activity is driven by the constant exchange between water and air. Rain itself plays a critical role. As water falls back to the surface, it transfers energy downward, influencing wind patterns and surface conditions. Large volumes of rainfall can quickly reshape landscapes, saturating soil and altering natural drainage systems. Storms fueled by water follow strict physical laws. They grow, move, and weaken in response to temperature, pressure, and moisture balance. There is no randomness in their behavior, only complex interaction. Through this continuous cycle, water acts as both the source and the regulator of storm energy, demonstrating its powerful influence far beyond the surface of the Earth.
Ice represents water's most powerful and underestimated forms. When water freezes, it expands, becoming solid while storing immense pressure within its structure. Across the planet, vast quantities of ice exist in glaciers, ice sheets, frozen rivers, and mountain peaks. These frozen systems may appear still, but they are constantly moving, responding to gravity, temperature, and time. Glaciers flow slowly, inch by inch, driven by their own weight. As they advance, they press against rock and soil, grinding surfaces beneath them and reshaping entire landscapes. Valleys are widened, mountains are smoothed, and deep basins are formed through this steady motion. The force involved is enormous, even though the movement is barely visible from one moment to the next. When ice begins to melt, stored energy is released. Water flows into cracks and weak points, increasing pressure and reducing stability. This process can trigger sudden shifts, collapses, or rapid movement within ice masses. What once appeared solid and permanent can change quickly when balance is lost. Frozen water also affects the ground beneath it. Repeated cycles of freezing and melting cause rock to fracture and break apart. Over time, this process weakens cliffs, slopes, and surfaces, allowing gravity to take control. The result is gradual transformation rather than sudden destruction. Ice demonstrates water's power in a unique way. It acts slowly, silently, and persistently, storing force and releasing it through change. Whether frozen in place or returning to liquid form, ice plays a critical role in shaping the planet. Through ice, water proves that stillness does not mean weakness. Even at rest, it remains one of nature's most powerful forces. Water is not only a force in motion on the surface, it also exerts incredible power through pressure. As water accumulates in lakes, rivers, oceans, and confined spaces, it presses outward and downward, acting on everything it touches. This pressure increases with depth and volume, following natural laws that are consistent and unyielding. Even the strongest human-made structures face immense stress when exposed to sufficient water pressure. In the ocean, pressure grows rapidly as depth increases. Every 10 meters adds significant weight from the water above, compressing both air and objects below. Submersibles, pipelines, and underwater habitats must be carefully engineered to withstand this continuous force. A small error in design or calculation can result in catastrophic failure, demonstrating the sheer, invisible power of water. Pressure is also apparent in confined systems on land. When water is trapped behind dams, levees, or natural barriers, energy builds silently over time. The more water accumulates, the greater the push against walls,
soil, and foundations. Sudden release, even from minor cracks or structural failure, can unleash tremendous energy in the form of floods, breaking barriers and reshaping the surrounding environment. Even in everyday rivers and streams, water pressure influences erosion, sediment transport, and the shaping of riverbanks. The combined weight of moving water and its momentum pushes rocks, soil, and vegetation along its path. What makes water pressure uniquely powerful is its invisibility. Unlike waves crashing on a shore, pressure is often unseen but always present. It acts consistently, quietly accumulating energy and testing resistance. Understanding water pressure reveals that water's strength is not only in motion, but also in its ability to exert relentless force. It demonstrates that even in stillness, water can dominate and reshape everything in its path.
Water's power is not always sudden or explosive. Often it works quietly, persistently, and over vast periods. This slow but unstoppable force shapes landscapes through erosion, gradually wearing down rock, soil, and sediment. Over centuries and millennia, rivers carve deep valleys, waves smooth coastlines, and rainfall reshapes hills and plains. What may seem solid and permanent is in reality in constant transformation. Erosion begins when water meets the surface of the earth. Each drop may appear insignificant, yet combined with others, it gradually loosens soil, dislodges rock, and carries particles downstream. Over time, these small movements accumulate, creating features that are monumental in scale. Canyon walls, river gorges, and coastal cliffs all exist because of the persistent action of water over time. Collapse often follows erosion. When the foundation of soil or rock becomes weakened, gravity accelerates the process. Cliff faces crumble, riverbanks give way, and slopes collapse into valleys or streams below. These events can appear sudden to the human eye, but they are the result of long-term weakening by water. Even the strongest materials cannot resist its persistent influence indefinitely. Time amplifies water's effect. A small stream over thousands of years can carve a path through solid rock. Rain falling daily wears away surfaces imperceptibly yet relentlessly. This combination of erosion, collapse, and time demonstrates that water's most powerful tool is patience. By observing these natural processes, it becomes clear that water is a sculptor of the earth. It does not rush, it does not pause, and it does not fail. Over time, even the hardest stone yields, reminding us that water's influence is both quiet and unstoppable, shaping the planet in ways humans can measure only across centuries. Water is the driving force behind nearly every system on Earth. It shapes landscapes, fuels storms, carves valleys, and sustains life, all while following natural laws with unyielding consistency. From the tiniest streams to the vast oceans, water is in constant motion, moving energy, nutrients, and matter across the planet. Its presence links climate, geology, and ecosystems in ways that no other force can match. The oceans act as Earth's engine, distributing heat through currents and stabilizing weather patterns around the globe. Rivers transport sediments and minerals, slowly building fertile plains and deltas that support life.
Ice in glaciers and polar regions stores water and energy, releasing it over time to reshape coastlines and feed rivers. Even underground aquifers, hidden from view, influence landscapes and ecosystems by slowly shifting water through rock and soil. Water also powers extreme events, reminding us of its raw energy. Storms, tsunamis, floods, and megawaves carry immense force, reshaping terrain and demonstrating nature's power in real time. Yet, even in its violence, water follows predictable laws of physics, pressure, and gravity, showing both chaos and order in balance. The true power of water is its persistence. It moves steadily, erodes relentlessly, and connects all parts of the planet in a continuous cycle. Nothing else combines energy, adaptability, and influence on such a global scale. By observing water in motion, from gentle streams to mighty oceans, we see the invisible engine that drives Earth's systems. Ultimately, the planet is powered by water. Its presence dictates climate, shapes the land, and sustains every form of life. In understanding water, we understand the forces that make our world dynamic, resilient, and alive.